One deal cash flows over $4,000 a month. Another deal cash flows $1,500 that I paid no money out of pocket for. And another deal could easily be flipped for $250,000 profit. These are 3 real deals that you could do today to break free from your 9-to-5. If you're new, I'm Jesse. I'm a commercial real estate investor, entrepreneur, podcast host. So the first deal that we want to talk about is a deal that cash flows almost $4,000 a month. This deal came from a brokerage relationship that me and my business partner took down, and it was done through seller financing. We'll talk about the deal first. So it's an 18,000 square foot warehouse that was completely vacant. The previous broker was trying to lease it out for around $4 a foot modified gross. Well, we knew that things were leasing in the area around $6 a foot triple net. We just didn't know if we could really get it, and we got it. It was definitely a frustrating process, but we were able to do it the day after we closed it, which is a little risky, but that's who we are. Sometimes you just got to take the risk and know that you can get it done if you have a tenant that's interested and wants to make a deal happen. So again, this deal was done through seller financing. We did 10% down seller financing on a 5.5% interest note, and the reason that we were able to get such a good deal is because we negotiated it down to about $40 a foot, and we were able to lease it for $6. So that creates so much spread on 18,000 square feet. Let me walk you through the quick math. So I know that our mortgage was $44.20 a month, and we leased it for $6 a foot on 18,068 square foot. That's $108,000 a year in base rent. Divided by 12, that's $9,034 a month. Subtract that by $44.20. It's $4,614 a month. Actually, cash flow is more than I thought it did, which is just insane. And that is the power of commercial real estate. That is one deal. One deal. Would $4,600 a month not change your life immediately? Another way that a commercial real estate deal could immediately change your life forever is by flipping something for over somebody's year's salary. You could also do this through a signing. It doesn't have to necessarily be through flipping. You don't have to actually close. Our advice though is that you're going to plan on closing that property and then assigning it at the last minute if the opportunity so presents itself. What we don't want people to do is go out there and lock up properties and have to drop them last second because they never could find anybody to assign it. I would 100% intend on closing on the property unless someone else just wanted it more than you did. So another deal that we did was we found a month-to-month industrial warehouse in North Carolina that had a month-to-month tenant in it, and we needed to bring them to market rent. And when we were able to do that, and I talk about this in my last video, very much depth, but essentially bought a warehouse that was 12,000 square foot for $48 a foot, and we're going to sign a $6 triple net lease with them on an 8.5 cap. That's $847,000 and roughly $250,000 profit margin. That is done in one deal, and we did that with 15% down out of pocket. 87 grand down to make 250 something grand. That's a deal you do every day of the week. And for most people, that is over a year's salary. I know it's over mine. So that is life-changing money immediately. And that's a deal that is so findable. Find something out there. I shared this in my last video, but essentially find a property that you can buy at, we'll say for example, $50 a square foot. Divide that by 10, the $50, you're gonna get 5, right? If you can lease that property for over $5 a foot, then you probably have a really good deal in your hands, and you need to underwrite that because there might be a huge amount of profit in there that you're not seeing. Another, and this is one of my favorite ways for a commercial real estate deal to completely change your life, is to be able to put no money into a deal, come out on the other side cash flowing, putting money in your pocket. So how were we able to do this deal? This was a seller finance deal that we did with hard money for the down payment. So we did 75% seller financing, and we were able to bring 25% to the table and our down payment through a hard money note. That hard money and seller finance means you're 100% levered. This is not something I would just go out and whimsily do, but if you have someone that is an experienced person that is able to mentor and guide you through it, I would 100% partner with that person if you have an opportunity like this. So we were buying a property for $45 a foot, and we were able to lease it for $6 a foot triple net after we closed it. I want to make sure people know that it was just automatically done and it was just all beautiful. We closed on it. We really weren't sure if the tenant in place was going to sign a lease or not, and they wound up doing it, which was an amazing, huge help for us because we were able to refi from a bank note to pay off both of those loans. So essentially what happened is that bank note paid off the seller finance note and the hard money note. We were able to pay off our investor, and we were able to keep that property with no money out of pocket. That property now cash flows us $1,500 a month. Now that might not be life-changing money to some of you, but that was life-changing money to me at the time, and it's also life-changing to know that you can do something like that. You can find a property, add value to it, take it to a bank. A bank wants to make sure their note is secured on a property, on a tenant, and we have created enough value in that property to show, hey, this property is really worth closer to 600 grand. We have so much equity in it. Give us a loan to pay off those two notes, and you guys get a note on our property. It was a win-win for everybody and such a game changer. So those those are 3 deals that you can reasonably do. One of the first commercial real estate transactions that we did was that $4,000 property. That came from my business partner selling his first ever home, putting his money into that property and closing it in essentially a 1031 and completely changing his life. That's something that if you have, let's say you have a couple single family homes that you rent out long term and you're tired of cash flowing $300 a month and something going wrong and wiping out all that cash flow, you can easily sell that property because it's an investment now and then move it into a commercial property that's going to cash flow way more than that residential house would have ever done. And the beauty of having a couple of single family homes is you're able to buy 2, 3, however many houses you have. You can buy that many investment commercial properties that are going to cash flow way more than your single family ever will, even with Airbnb. So if you want to break free from your 9 to 5, try one of these 3 methods. Watch the rest of my YouTube videos. Reach out if you have any questions. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.